Okay, welcome to another episode of the Crypto Spin Through Podcast. As some of you may know, there's a new rave going through the Ethereum network, and that's CryptoKitties. So for those that don't know how CryptoKitties is taking over the Ethereum network, well, CryptoKitties is this little virtual cats. They're all unique. You breed them out, and it's pretty similar to Neopets. You breed them, sometimes you get rare traits, and you sell them for the low price of a few Ethereum. Yeah. So one thing is it's clogging the network, but it has great potential to be something that's easy onboarding for people who aren't involved with crypto, because it's a cool little thing. It's cats. It might evolve into something more in the future, but like I said, it's clogging the network. 10 to 50% of all network transactions at this point is just CryptoKitties. This is forcing Ethereum to scale faster than it's planned to, because it is actually impossible to even do CryptoKitties sometimes because how clogged the network is with transactions. And like I said, it's good. It pointed out a glaring flaw in Ethereum. And if something more serious came along, well, it probably would have been worse off. So it was good that something lighthearted like this can expose the need for scaling as much as it did. So it could be a good time for hurry up the scaling solution for Ethereum, or implementing Microraiden, because that came out. But a little more on that later. Next up, piece of news is the Bank of England deputies claims that Bitcoin is too small to threaten the world. It feels like it has no risk to the greater economy, and it's nothing more than a commodity. However, the U.S. Federal Reserve disagrees with that, because they have issued a warning. The Fed vice chairman said it has a great challenge of liquidity and credit risk, because the lack of a stable exchange rate between cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin and the US dollars in time of adversity. And he feels like it's a problem. However, most people won't be trading the US dollars in times of adversity for Bitcoin. They'll keep holding. So that's one minor thing. A minor detail he's forgetting. It's funny that the US is threatened by this, while a lot of other countries are, specifically European and most Asian, well, mainly just Korea, Singapore, and Japan. But the US is really scared of Bitcoin. And to bounce off of this, there's been some speculation that a new law might come into effect that criminalizes hiding of Bitcoins. So if every Bitcoin to your name, or every cryptocurrency isn't, I guess it's probably going to be something dumb like reported on an X amount of basis, then you're a criminal. But as it stands right now, we just need to be vigilant and act to slam down any hasty crypto related legislation, because as you know, America loves passing laws that don't need to be passed, or changing things that are good as they are. So stay aware if you're American, and when the time comes, do all in your power to not have the government throw down some dumb laws about what makes you a criminal just because your Bitcoins aren't 100% tied to your identity. And this actually brings up another crazy point. What would they do with Monero when every transaction's confidential. So would you have to report every single transaction and say it just blows my mind, because this law is can easily be made irrelevant by so many new technologies to where it's impossible to enforce. But on to the next thing. ICO pros are calling for self-regulations because the SEC regulation risk. So ICOs have been cooling down, but there's still risk for people to face the wrath of more government-related things, because as it's been understood that the SEC won't come after every project individually. They'll send out blanket statements, like mass-produced cease and desist type things, or the letters will basically be all worded the same, because they're going to say, oh, you all follow the same general framework. What the ICO sphere is now realizing is they have to self-regulate, or the SEC could destroy a lot with the kind of things they're ruling. But right now it's not set in stone. It'll take probably another, people estimate 6 to 18 months before the full power comes down. But as more people, less philosophical based investors come into the crypto sphere and lose money from ICOs, we'll expect more and more government intervention, which is, in this case, is going to be bad overall. Next up, TechCrunch founder is launching set to launch $100 million crypto hedge fund. So Michael Arrington is planning to buy and hold crypto assets while making investments in token sales and some equities and debt. He believes that this $300 billion market cap we're sitting in, it's only the beginning, and we'll easily hit $1 trillion by next year. This will be probably one of those floodgates that opens up the institutional money to help reach that $1 trillion market cap. We'll see. This guy's been pretty successful with his other ventures, so he has the clout to back up any claims of doing anything, and will probably be instrumental in, like I said, more money flowing into crypto and helping the money that's already in cryptos to stay in it. Next up, crackdown on crypto. PayPal is freezing seller accounts and closing accounts that haven't been authorized for their little special money seller license, which has gotten some people in trouble on local Bitcoin. Basically, if you're involved in crypto or selling crypto and you're accepting PayPal, not only are you at risk from chargebacks, but you're also at risk of PayPal just closing your account, no questions asked, and it's just lose all the money that's being held there. So be aware of that. Switch off. You probably shouldn't have been using PayPal in the beginning, but now you know PayPal is not crypto friendly. If you didn't already know, yeah, stay away. Next up, PwC's Hong Kong office is accepting Bitcoin payments from any cryptocurrency focused company. This is big because it's the big four for Hong Kong, and even if it's the way it sounded like it's only accepting cryptocurrencies from crypto and blockchain centered companies, local companies, even then that kind of gives other people incentive, other companies to possibly do the same in their area. So Coinbase has cited an unprecedented victory against the IRS for only having to send 14,000 transactions. Now, granted, most companies would have turned over all the records, no questions asked, and only 3% of the records were surrendered. But the crypto community being so skeptical about government entities are still up in arms that any records were forcibly shown. And you can expect every crypto-related company will probably be fighting tooth and nail to not have to comply in such a way without having legal, like, I guess whatever the IRS equivalent to a warrant is. But we'll see. It's good that they did stand against the IRS, but like some said, they felt like it wasn't enough. But I think they probably couldn't do much in the end. And what they did was a start of dissent. So next up, ECB's Yves Mersch saying banks need faster payments to counter Bitcoin. So there are some people in positions of power like this guy who realize Bitcoin is superior in some ways to traditional institutions, and banning it's not going to do much. However, he didn't mention how no EU nation is able to create their own coin. So I honestly, this person thinks that the banks will evolve on their own, but in reality, the banks will use some of this. They'll cover it up and say, "Oh, we're using blockchain technology and not cryptocurrencies," but it's essentially one and the same. And they might even use something like Ripple or Stellar, because not every organization is going to have the money to hire the limited manpower to create blockchain solutions. They'll just have to adopt other people's in their own way. But it's probably going to be the Western breeding ground for blockchain innovations. I think I even saw an article saying Europe is where most of the ICOs are funded, or something along those lines. But next up, Bitfinex. You've heard a lot about them lately. They've liquidated margin orders at the bottom prices because they had a flash crash like GDAX did a couple of months ago. So a lot of users lost money. Because why? Bitfinex, the system fell apart. Stop losses did not enact. So even the people who took precautions for not to lose all their money lost all their money because the site just froze up and none of the stop losses went through because the site was froze, and it came back and registered that all those accounts got liquidated instead of their stop losses enacting. It really sucks because some people lost hundreds of thousands of dollars because of this, because since they were leveraged so hard. But another lesson to not use Bitfinex. Next up is Yahoo. Yahoo is buffing up its websites. Well, how? Well, it's a partnership with CryptoCompare, CoinDesk, and Coinbase. It was giving a lot of people some options in getting in the crypto game, from information to just informational news, trading, and retailers can even link Yahoo and Coinbase up somehow. I don't know why they would, but they can. So they're giving extra exposure. This little partnership that Yahoo has, more exposure to crypto to the mainstream, because it'll cross into their normal news platforms probably. Crypto Compare was a good choice. I feel like it's more updated sometimes than CoinMarketCap is. Next up, CME, and those futures are launching the 18th. It's official. So get your Bitcoins now, because before those futures become commonplace next year. And maybe even the flood will start this month. Maybe. I feel like there's going to be a little lag, but I'm not sure. Definitely in the coming months, there'd be a lot of attention on these Bitcoin futures. And finally, Microraiden has gone live. As I was saying, Ethereum's clogged up by CryptoKitties right now. So, utilizing Microraiden after it finishes its little testing phase would be pretty good. Right now, it's hashing out bugs, and you're limited to 100 Raiden a transaction, which isn't much. 100 Raiden's probably like $300 to $400 worth, and some of those skins are way more than that. But hey, real use for Raiden will help it out and help Ethereum, because it won't be clogged anymore. And as we see with CryptoKitties, like I said earlier, scaling is a very important thing that a lot of people talk about, but it's really just now getting addressed on how important it is. Because, like I said, if a real app, not saying CryptoKitties is like fake, but it's more jokey. If something that was like mission critical was launched instead of CryptoKitties, we would see how insufficient the Ethereum in its current form is for massive network activity, as we've already seen with all those ICOs. So a solution like Microraiden definitely needed for the slight one directional ease. When the main thing launches, even better. But until then, Ethereum's going to be clogged. Maybe they'll expedite some updates of Ethereum. Who knows? But that's it for today. Shortest episode ever, because it's a late episode. Recording it late. I'll see you Thursday for an amazing episode, and no interview episode this week, but next week. Prepare for that. If you're cool and you're follow the email on the email list, you'll get some secret information about what the next interview episode for next Saturday is going to be. So get on that. And like I said, see you Thursday for the next episode of the Crypto Spin-Through podcast, your source of bi-weekly cryptocurrency news.